Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. As you can see by the title of today's video, I have decided to film my tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. So I'm going to be reading both of these books together at the same time. Basically, there are a few different types of reading orders when it comes to this series. If you're wondering, the order that I read these books is I read The Assassin's Blade first, and then I read all the books in order, and now on book 5 and 6 I decided I'm going to read them at the same time. Both of these books basically take place at the exact same time, so there is a guide that is on the internet with how you can read both of these books at the same time. I originally was going to print out the guide and just highlight as I went, but I found someone on Etsy that made these bookmarks, which is so cool. Such a good idea. And basically I have a bookmark for Tower of Dawn and I have a bookmark for Empire of Storms, and it just has the entire guide. This is from Presswork Print on Etsy. I'm really nervous, but I'm really excited because it isn't something I've ever done before, and I'm hoping that I won't be stuck on it for too long. Wish me luck. All right guys, so I don't remember the last time I updated you. Please do not mind how I'm looking. I am currently sick. I filmed a video saying that I was starting the tandem read of Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. Well, guess what? I didn't end up continuing. I think I read maybe one chapter of Empire of Storms and then I just completely put it to the side. Coming out of the Throne of Glass world, I ended up in a reading slump for 2 whole months. Yeah, so now that I actually am like deep in it, I feel like I can update you guys on the tandem read. I think I'm around 200 pages, a little over 200 pages in both of these books now. So to start with Empire of Storms, we're following a little bit more POVs in this one because people are kind of split up and a lot is going on. Things started to pick up pretty quickly, that it got to the point that when I would switch to Tower of Dawn, I'm like, am I going to be disappointed that I chose to do the tandem read, because I don't know if I like leaving this and going to that. But after the first 3 chapters of Tower of Dawn, I am like sold on both books. I can see myself rating this 5 stars. So many people hate Tower of Dawn, but I've been enjoying it a lot. I love the character that I don't want to say that we're introduced to, because it depends on when you read Assassin's Blade, but I read Assassin's Blade first. Some people read it last, and you actually get introduced to a character that shows up in this one, and she plays a huge role in the story, and I'm loving it. There are moments where I'm so heavily invested in what's happening in this one that switching over to Empire Storms is like a little bit frustrating. But the thing is, it's easier to switch to Tower of Dawn because Empire of Storms has so many different POVs that you can read like 1 or 2 chapters and then that POV is done and you're on to a different one. So coming into this is a little bit easier. I know a lot of people don't like it because it focuses on Chaol, and I actually like him in this book. I did like him for a bit, and then I was so annoyed with him in Crown of Midnight, especially in Air of Fire. He pissed me off so much. Like, he was just a little too much, and I feel like he's really owning up to his behavior and his actions in this one. And I will say he blames himself for things that are kind of out of his control a little bit, so I do feel a bit bad for him. I think this is so far a really great redemption arc. I am loving like knowing his thoughts and understanding him and how he feels about himself, and it makes me kind of sad. And you can tell that he almost thinks that if he dies he deserves it, or if he's in pain he deserves it, and all of that. So it's really sad. I think I already mentioned I have like these bookmarks, which now I feel stupid because I literally bought these because I was going to read the physical copies, and now I've been reading on my Kindle, both of them, because I've been not feeling well and in my bed. So I've pretty much read these completely like on my Kindle. Got the bump on my eye. We're just gonna ignore it. So I'm officially at part 2 in Empire of Storms. I'm loving Empire of Storms right now. Not that I wasn't liking it before, but it's definitely like picking up the pace in Aylin's point of view. I didn't feel like it was at first. It was kind of like slower for her scenes, but it's picked up a lot. I feel like we hadn't seen Manon in a while, and last night I stayed up really late reading this book, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read till the end of this chapter. And literally the chapter, it was Manon Manon's dragon arriving to Aelin and all of them, I was like, finally, we have her back. And now she's gonna be with the whole crew and everything, so I got excited. And the chapter right after was not even in any of their point of views. It went straight to Elide, which I still really enjoyed Elide's chapters, but I was like, come on, I was so ready to start reading about Manon. Again, I'm in bed. Every time I read these days, I'm always in bed, so I tried to get up for you guys, but I don't want to right now. I'm on chapter 53 in Empire of Storms. Tower of Dawn, I am at chapter 41. Now I see what everyone means about Empire of Storms being super action-packed and Tower of Dawn being a little bit slower. Although Tower of Dawn is a slower book, it has so much good information. It has so much important information in it, and a lot of like fun things that are still happening. I don't know if I updated you guys already, but I wasn't really enjoying Nesrin's point of view very much. I mean, it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying it. I do like what's happening in Nesrin's point of view, but my thing was I really like what's happening with Yrene and Chaol. That every time we started to move, or every time the chapter would end and go into Nesrin's point of view, I'd be a little bit upset because I want to read about Yrene. I'm also really happy that some romance is starting to pick up in the books as well, because it makes it a little bit more interesting having some romance going on. I don't think I've mentioned this, but I've been loving Elide and Lorcan. I already knew the minute that they started to go on their journey together that there was going to be some romance sparking between them. I'm excited to see what happens with that whole romance, but also it's a Sarah J Maas book, and I don't want to get too attached to their romance. Oh, last night when I was reading Tower of Dawn, Yrene and Chaol finally kissed. I love him and Irene's like dynamic that they got going on, and I love Yrene specifically. Why did no one tell me that I might cry reading Tower of Dawn? I have heard people say that they've cried in Empire of Storms, but I've yet to really experience anything that's made me want to cry in this book. But Tower of Dawn, as you guys saw from the last clip, I was reading chapter 47 in Tower of Dawn, and it's the chapter where Nesrin and Sartaq are running, and Sartaq can't fit between these two boulders. So he's getting stuck, and Nesrin's trying to pull him through, and he can't do it. And Nesrin notices that he has no fear in his eyes. And gosh, I wanted to cry so badly. And he says, I heard the spy stories of you, the fearless Balruni woman in Adarlan's empire, Neith's arrow, and I knew. Nesrin sobbed, tugging and tugging, and Sartaq smiled at her gently, sweetly, in a way she had not yet seen. I loved you before I ever set eyes on you. I wish we had time. And I just started literally tearing up. I literally had to sit there for a good 5 minutes, taking it all in, and I'm like, there's no way. Sarah J Maas, there's no way that you killed this man off. I'm like, there has to be a way that he's still alive, and I just kept hoping for it. And of course I kept reading, and I see that he is at the moment still breathing. I haven't gotten much further, but he's still breathing. So I'm on chapter 49 of Tower of Dawn now, and moving on to chapter 60 in Empire of Storms. And at the end of chapter 48 in Tower of Dawn, it was revealed that Maeve is the queen of the Valg. Not really shocked, to be quite honest with you. She was already really suspicious to begin with. I really thought I was going to finish these 2 books by today, but that didn't happen. I did write down a few things, and I wanted to share them with you guys so that I don't forget. I thought this in the past and I didn't mention it, but I am a little bit curious about the royal siblings that are from, is it Antica? They're just a little suspicious, especially one of the princesses, Duva, I'm assuming is how you pronounce her name. She's the one who's pregnant, and she has a husband, and she's just always quiet, and her husband never talks. So I'm really curious about that. And the mother has never has never showed up to any kind of dinner or anything like that. So it just makes me like really curious about their involvement in the whole situation. Like, are they involved, or are they just like aware of the history of this continent and don't want to bring anything to light? That's my little update. I think I'm going to finish it today, and I really hope that I do. Oh my gosh, I'm officially done Empire of Storms now. The ending of this book really gave off A Court of Mist and Fury. So now I'm a lot more curious how Kingdom of Ash is gonna go. This book was really good. Like, I think this was a well thought out, well planned book from beginning to end. To me, it gives off 5 stars simply for that. I promised myself this year I wouldn't rate books immediately after finishing them, but this book, let me tell you, is definitely 5-star material. And now I have to finish Tower of Dawn, which I'm really excited to finish, and I'm excited to see how it ends. I've been enjoying this book so much, and I think the reason I'm enjoying it even more is because my expectations were incredibly low. Hello friends, it is the next day. I have officially finished the tandem read. I am feeling very accomplished, I'm not gonna lie. I do think if I could go back in time, I would still do the tandem read. I remember when I first started, it felt a little bit overwhelming and I was kind of regretting it a little bit, but now looking back, I really feel like the tandem read was completely worth it. The fact that Empire of Storms is full of like so many different point of views, going to this and then back to this felt like you're just reading the same book almost. It was just really enjoyable, and I am so happy that I decided to do it. Even though it took me a month to do it, it wouldn't have taken me a month if it wasn't for me just being busy. The books were amazing, I love them. As for each individual book, I don't think I did like an official review on Empire of Storms, and I never updated you guys on Tower of Dawn since finishing it. Empire of Storms, amazing book, pretty much action-packed from the beginning to the end. I love that we got a lot more romance in the series, because you go through this series with like hardly any romance to get some romance, and this book was really fun. It's funny because I watched somebody's TikTok last night after finally finishing, and she was saying it felt like everyone just kept hooking up with each other, which honestly, when you look back, it really did feel like everyone was getting some type of love story or the start of a love story. No one was lacking in the love department pretty much in this book. It sets up for such a great like final book, I feel like, and Kingdom of Ash is 1,000 pages practically, so I'm sure a lot more is gonna happen and shock me. Everyone says that Kingdom of Ash breaks your heart the entire way through, so I'm a little bit scared, but I'm excited to read it as well. As for Tower of Dawn, I've already said this, I feel like, throughout the vlog, but Tower of Dawn is probably going to hold a very special place in my heart forever. But I have to say, Tower of Dawn has to be like my top 3 in the entire series, which it feels unfair to say that because it is almost like an entirely different story. Obviously it's connected with the story and it plays a big role in what's to come in Kingdom of Ash. It reminded me a lot of A Court of Silver Flames, just with the whole character development and healing journey that you got to experience through this book. It reminded me so much of A Court of Silver Flames. This is a 5-star for sure. I knew like halfway through reading this book that I was going to rate it 5 stars. I'm excited to see what about this book plays a part in Kingdom of Ash. Everyone's just spread out and these people have no idea. That is the end of this tandem reading vlog. I really miss doing reading vlogs, so I'm definitely going to continue doing more. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you're not subscribed, do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.